Let's try doing this vlog for the third time today. It's been a day. And just the fact that I have to do this 3 times now, and hopefully we'll get through it, just shows what kind of day I've had. Hi, this is Sheri Richerson from Experimental Homesteader, Exotic Gardening, SheriAnnRicherson.com, and BiannualBlogathonBadge.com. Welcome to our daily vlog. I woke up this morning to a phone call from my grandma. She wanted me to bring her iPad back. I had it because I was doing some updates on it. And she said she was having problems with it. Probably because it needed to be updated and her apps needed to be updated. So I had told her yesterday it was done. And she said, oh, just bring it on Sunday. So I was like, okay, are you sure? Tuesday is my normal class day. So I didn't get to go to class today. I took the iPad back to her. And she said she had some errands to run, so I said, do you want me to drive you? And she said, okay. So I brought her over here to Marion to do some donations. She had a bunch of cowboy hats and things like that she wanted to donate. And the place we took them was so excited because someone had just been in needing a bunch of cowboy hats. So that worked out really, really well. And then she bought something for a lady, and we took it to the lady's place where she works and gave it to her. And then we came to the house because I told her I didn't empty my sap buckets. And they were full enough. If I didn't get home and empty them, they were going to be overflowing by the time I got home. Ended up with 2.5 gallons of sap, minus what I accidentally spilled. Got it dumped into the half-gallon ball jars and put in the refrigerator. And stocked the wood stove and left again. We went to Applebee's to eat. And we couldn't get a seat near the bathrooms. They were all full by the time we got there. So she had to do a little bit of walking, which is hard for her because she walks with a walker. And, So then she said she was tired and she wanted to go home. And I said, well, what about the other errands? No, I want to go home. So I took her home and parked the car in the garage and left. Came home, checked on the wood burner, gave Charlie the little pieces of grilled chicken that I brought in from Applebee's, and left again. I wanted to go to Big Lots to get some pomegranate cherry water, because when I saw it the other day, I only bought 1 bottle because they didn't have it in like a pack. It was just individual bottles. And the individual bottles are expensive, even at Big Lots. So I thought I would try it and see if I liked it. And if I did, I'd go back and get more. And I absolutely loved it. So I wanted to get some more. And then I decided I was going to go on down to Meijer and pick up some hamburger that was on sale. And a few other little items for supper tonight and tomorrow night. And while I was there, I was talking to a friend of mine that had 15 pounds of sugar she was going to give me. So I was making arrangements to go pick up the sugar when the phone rang and my grandma said she had an emergency. I could hear people talking and I didn't know what had happened. She hung up on me and I tried to call her back and she said, I'll call you back. And I called my friend back and I said, I'll get with you later about the sugar. My grandma's got an emergency. I need to go. So I wanted to go ahead and check out because I had the items in my cart. And there was only a handful. There was lines everywhere. So I had to stand and wait. And I was being really impatient. Trying to be patient, but feeling really impatient because I didn't know what the emergency was. And I wanted to get there and find out. Well, as I was checking out, my grandma called back and said she was at the tire barn. I was only a few doors down from the tire barn. So I said, well, I'm at Meijer checking out and I'll be right there. Someone had poked her tires out at some point while we was out today. And the only reason she knew was she went to leave and thought her car was driving funny, drove off the road in her driveway, ended up getting mud all over her car, took it to the car wash, took it to go do her other couple errands, realized she had a flat tire, headed back home instead of calling me or calling someone, headed back home, stopped at a neighbor's driveway to ask if they could put the little donut on, The man yelled at her because she put tire marks on his driveway, which really irks me off because, she is, I'm not sure if she is 90 or if she's getting ready to turn 90, but she's old enough that you don't yell at somebody for stopping and asking for help. Muddy tires wash off a driveway. And he did that, and he sent her on her way. She went home, she unloaded her groceries, and then instead of waiting at her house for me to come, she decided to drive all the way back to Marion like that. So I went down to the tire barn after I checked out to check on her, and she was shaking and so upset. She had to have 2 new tires put on the front of her car. Well, I just couldn't understand why somebody would randomly poke somebody's tires out. But there's been a lot of strange stuff happening here in the county lately. There's been an all-day incident where people were inside of their house with guns, and the police was surrounding the house, and that was a whole big incident. And yesterday there was a shooting literally right down the road from her house. So lots of things going on, and that was just in Gas City. That doesn't count all the shootings and stabbings and who knows what's going on in Marion for the past couple weeks. So yeah, I can see somebody just randomly doing that. I mean, we just had a car lit on fire in the Walmart parking lot here. So, people are getting a little out of hand and a little bit crazy. So, went to the tire barn, sat with her for a little bit. And then she said she was okay, so I went and picked up the sugar. Decided to go back to the tire barn to check on her. And the guy said she had left. So I talked to him about the tires. Well, come to find out, he felt that she needed to replace the 2 back tires too, because her tires were from 2009. That's 11 years. I said, well, did you tell my grandma that? Well, no, she just wanted the 2 front tires done. So I talked to him for a little bit, and I decided that I needed to call her and let her know. So I had Jeff stop on his way home. I called her to let her know, and I got home. I went to unpack my groceries, and lo and behold, the tomatoes that I got that were in a bag are rotten. So Jeff's on his way home to get the tomatoes, to take them back to Meijer, to let them know that the tomatoes were rotten and that he wants some different tomatoes, and pick those up and bring those home. It has been one hell of a day. I just got the wood burner restocked. Thankfully, it didn't burn out. I'm trying to get out and get the rest of the maple sap that has gathered today collected. And before we get the freeze, because my understanding is we have more snow coming starting tomorrow. We have up to 6 inches of snow on Sunday, is what I was just told. And it sounds like we are going to have another round of deep freeze and snow and just overall yucky weather. While I was trying to do the vlog for the second time, my grandma called again. I had told her I had a surprise for her. I'm actually embroidering a cross with lilies on it. It's going to be a keychain. I had tried the other night to get this done, and my machine went up underneath the vinyl and it jammed. So it was long enough that it took me to get the machine shut down that I wasn't able to save the designs. So I've got to start the designs over from scratch and get those done. And she's very anxious to have her surprise because she says she doesn't get surprises anymore. So at some point later this evening, after we have supper and get settled down, that's what I'm going to be working on. I had originally had plans to do some canning today. That didn't happen. But this is kind of the way my life goes. I make plans to do one thing, 10 other things happen, and what I originally had planned doesn't happen. I guess that's just life, people. I don't know what else to think because it's the way it is. So anyway, please subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments below. Thanks for watching and have a great night.